Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Whiteville, North Carolina, visiting Van Underwood Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, and I'm checking out a 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee in the Limited X trim level. Now this is a four-wheel drive vehicle, and the Limited X is a combination of cosmetic and functional features. So let's go ahead and check it out. This Grand Cherokee is sitting on 265/50 Pirelli Scorpion tires wrapped around 20-inch alloy wheels with a granite crystal finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and a very thick, solid rotor here in the back. The name of this color is Bright White Clear Coat, and for the most part it just looks like a regular white color. No pearl or metal flake or anything like that. But check out the hood. It has the sport hood, and this is part of the package here on the Limited X. And these do have, they are functional. They do allow air to flow through from the engine bay. It looks really cool as well. So you notice, since this is a white vehicle, we're able to see the features of the vehicle fairly well. So here in the front, you'll see on this around a combination of either gloss black or granite crystal. Now granite crystal is a color that Jeep offers, and you know, Ram and other Chrysler products has that granite crystal as far as an option. But you'll see it here in the Jeep emblem. Also around here, the rest of it's a gloss black, but right here is that granite crystal, and there at the bottom. It also has the LED fog lights, daytime running lights, and HID headlights and black bezels here. And a projector tube, so it's a bi-xenon. So in other words, it uses the projector to refocus the beam, so both the high and the low beams are, they come out of the same projector tube, so you don't have a separate bulb for that. So the front bumper cover, you see it has this design right here that continues on in these fender wells, and they continue down, and then you have this bottom portion extension here below the doors. It blends in really nice. It's all body colored, and it just gives the vehicle a really impressive look. So looking at the profile more, so you can see the Grand Cherokee name on the side is dark, and then you have the darker wheels. The side mirror is a gloss black on the upper portion, and the pillars are a gloss black here. So with the deep tinted glass, it kind of blends in. Of course, if you were to tint the front glass, it would blend that in perfectly, giving these windows a solid appearance all the way around, giving it a longer, sleeker look. And the lighting right now is kind of accenting these lines here on the door. The handles are body colored. You do have the black portions on the top. The roof rails are black. So it's a combination of dark and light, really good contrast. This is what the key looks like, and it's a proximity key system designed to where you can keep it in your pocket and use the vehicle 100%. Now it has lock and unlock buttons, ability to open up the power liftgate, remote start, and a panic button. This metal portion is the end of a physical key. In case you need it, you can take that out and unlock the door. There's a little latch to take it out. But let's push the panic button and see what the horn sounds like. All right, nice and loud horn. As long as you have the key with you, it can be in your pocket, in a bag, as long as it's within a close proximity to the outside of this door. You can lock the doors by pushing that button. You can unlock it simply by putting your hand behind the handle. It senses the key position, it senses your hand position, and allows you access. Now you can set it to where it'll unlock just this door or all doors when you put your hand back there. Right now it's set just for this door. The other doors remain locked. You also have a physical key location here on the driver's side only. So looking on the inside of the passenger door here, it's mostly black. It does have a chrome handle and a portion here that's chrome underneath the wood grain. Soft touch surfaces are here at the very top. This is kind of like a Nerf material. Down here and here around your arm are like a vinyl type material, soft touch. The rest of the door, including this little spot here and down at the bottom, is a hard touch plastic. You have a little, the handle here also serves as a storage pocket because it's enclosed. You have a little storage pocket right in here, and down at the base of the door, of course, has a bottle and large storage space. 2 speakers in the door. You have this larger one, and then you have the small tweeter speaker there in the pillar. Little Jeep sill plate here in the threshold. Power seat here for the passenger. But check it out, 4-way lumbar support. You also have the ability to raise and lower the seat and tilt it and all that. So it has a lot of features for a passenger seat. Now I can't confirm that these are actually leather seats, but they sure are convincing. The side portions are a cloth, so that way it protects it from the plastic, so it's a little bit more durable and supple and everything. But these are heated seats. Perforations there in the center portion, and they, at first glance, I mean, they just look like the old classic muscle car seats is what it looks like to me. Really nice looking and soft and comfortable, and if they're not real leather, they definitely look really good. Okay, so there's your leg room. You can see your floor mat hooks in place or snaps in place. So that's easy to manage. And then you have a little tapering right in here, but overall, pretty much wide open. So the dash is a soft touch. Then you have that wood grain underlined by the chrome. Lock and glove compartment. And it's felt lined. We'll check out that huge sunroof a little bit later on. The inside of the back door, very similar to the front in the style. Also the soft touch surfaces in the same places around your arm and up here at the very top. The back seat is basically a bench seat. The back portion does fold down to add to your cargo space. And it has that really nice style to it, just like the front, in my opinion. Then you have armrest cup holders back here. The back of both front seats have a hard, durable plastic here. Have little bag holders here on the sides, and a net pocket on both the seats here. There's a little bit of hump here in the center portion. Overall, this seat's the driver's seat's all the way back, and then this passenger seat's more in a normal position. Just to give you an idea of the legroom, I'm going to put all the dimensions and everything in the description. Back here also you have the handles for getting in and out of the vehicle as well. So you have 2 USB ports, climate control vents. Now those USB ports are for charging only. And then you have a 115 volt power supply there. It's a power inverter, just like an outlet like in your house for charging laptops or whatever. So folding these seats down to add to your cargo space, let me fold it down to show you. These seats do have the latch system as well. There's the anchor there in the very back. But once you fold the seat down, you notice the bottom portion kind of sandwiches itself down lower, so that way you have more of a flat floor for your cargo space. And you notice it's just one side. So if we want to add to our cargo space while still maintaining passenger space, we could do that depending on which side we want to do. But we can, say, have a longer box here and still have some backseat drivers. Okay, so looking at the back of the vehicle here, it has a black shark fin antenna at the very top, and then you have a third brake light at the very top of the glass. Has the wiper, of course, with the tinted glass. Tail lights are powered by standard bulbs. It has the dark badging here, as well as this, that step is a dark. And then you have this portion here, as well as the dual exhaust tips, but they look awesome. Very sporty looking for a Grand Cherokee. Parking sensors are also across the back. And the backup camera is in the very center position here. So you can, of course, use the key to open up the power liftgate, or you simply just push this button under here and it'll lift up for you. You have two lights under here. This is really nice. So it gives you the light in a really high position, and two of them, so it's not as many shadows when you're accessing the cargo space. It also illuminates the ground a little bit as well. And you can check out some of my night videos. I point out some of these features in there. You just check my channel and search for At Night, and you can check out the night videos. It shows all the lighting, interior and exterior lighting. So you'll notice it has these skid plates here in a brushed aluminum. So you have some bag holders, tie downs. You can put a net pocket back here. You have tie downs on all four corners here and back there. These are not your anchor for your car seats. Those are on the back of the seat like I showed you, so you don't want to get those confused. Then you have a 12-volt power supply back here, and it has the key on it, so that shows you that it turns on and off with the ignition. You also have a place, if you wanted to add a shade back here, you can do that. Little storage bin back here as well. Okay, so this lifts up. This is pretty cool. This lifts up like so. You have this hook that you can basically, it's easier to do it when not trying to hold a camera at the same time. Right there, it hooks up there, lifts up, and check it out. This is where your full-size spare tire is located with your tools. And you have space around it for cargo. You also have these bins that are removable, so you can put stuff in here, put your junk in there and dump it, clean it, put it back in. Really convenient. Hook in place so they don't slide around. You can see the edges are secure in there. This is great. Unlike some vehicles, this cover, when you push it down, hear that snap, it locks in place so that it doesn't rattle or move around or anything, and it secures whatever's underneath there. Okay, so to close the power liftgate, there's a button here that's convenient. You just push that, so you don't have to reach up. Some vehicles have it up here. You can just push there and it'll go down for you. It has a locking fuel door, and it's here on the driver's side, and it is capless. Has a seal around the outside here. Has a drain as well. So it's easy to just basically pump the gas. You don't have to worry about taking the cap off, getting your hands dirty, or if you don't put the cap tight on there, the check engine light turns on and all that stuff. So this eliminates all those issues. It just makes it a lot easier fueling up. Okay, so to start it up, as long as the key's inside the vehicle, it could be in your pocket, in a bag, whatever. Put your foot on the brake and hold it. That's important. Now, if you push this button here without holding the brake, it'll put it in accessory mode. So that's how you put it in accessory mode. But holding the brake starts it up. Okay, so here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Accelerator and brake pedal. Foot actuated parking brake there. Behind that you have a footrest. So let's take a look under the hood. So now we see the daytime running lights here looking really nice, surrounding the headlight bezel. And one thing about really bright LED daytime running lights and bright lights in general, they're able to cut through fog, they're able to cut through the distance so people can see you. So that's the whole point of the daytime running light, is people see you at a distance. Okay, so opening up the hood, it's pretty easy. There's a latch a little bit to the right of center here. Just reach in, move it to the left and lift up. Doesn't take much effort, and it goes up the rest of the way by itself. So the under portion of the hood here is insulated, except for, you can see where they want the air to flow. So this is right behind the cooling system here with the radiator and condenser and all that stuff. So as the air comes in, it gets heated up through that, and a good portion of it gets sucked out the top of the hood, and then you have, which pulls in, you know, fresher air from the bottom to circulate around the engine and all that stuff. So it's a slight effect, mostly for looks, I would say, but it does have the, you know, something there. There's actually airflow. And you notice it says SRT here on the bottom. So I guess this is the SRT hood put on this vehicle. It looks like it. Now you'll also notice that it has a seal all the way around the outside of the engine compartment, and in that way they can control the airflow. It also controls the noise and stuff like that, rattling and all that stuff. So the actual battery is not under here for the vehicle, it's underneath the passenger seat, but here's the positive post in case you need a jump start. A lot of insulation here on the firewall. You notice that all the way. It's not much more than the average vehicle, I would say. Much more coverage. Okay, so it's covered up with plastic. You have a plastic cover, but underneath that cover is a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6, and it's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Really awesome transmission, by the way. Same one they use in the Challengers and a lot of vehicles now. And underneath this cover here is how you access the fuel filter. This is the fuel fill, and under here is actually the fuel filter on the very top of the engine. It's pretty neat. Inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. You have 2 presets for your power seats and your power windows. Your door locks there, your power windows are here, and the front 2 are automatic, 1 touch up and down, nice and smooth. It's also a laminated glass, so it actually has 2 panes of glass here, and 1 pane on the outside, 1 pane on the inside, with an acoustic material on the inside, and this helps keep the outside vibrations of noise from getting through into the vehicle, basically. But it's also a very strong glass. Now, since it's laminated, it doesn't break easy either, so that's another thing. That could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on if you're, you know, a burglar trying to break in or a person that's trapped in the car and needs to break out. So it's one thing you want to consider. With laminated glass, it is has this pluses and negatives here. Okay, so you have the side mirrors are adjusted here, left and right. You just pick a side and adjust it with that little pad there. And usually the driver's seat one-ups the passenger with more features, but look at there. It basically is the same adjustments. Because the passenger seat's so well equipped, the driver's having a hard time one-upping the passenger seat. So yeah, it's the power seat, goes up and down like a dentist chair, 4-way lumbar adjustment, and man, these seats are comfortable. I got that lumbar adjusted perfectly right now for me, and it is exquisite. I got in there, I didn't want to get out. These are heated seats, by the way. Can't confirm that they're real leather, but they're convincing to me anyway, and they look nice. Here to the left of the steering column, we saw the button to open up the fuel door, and here's your headlight controls here. So you have automatic, off, parking, and headlights here. Pushing the center button will turn on your fog lights, And then this is a dimmer switch for your interior gauges. It also has a tilt and a telescoping steering column. It's really easy to manipulate here, especially the telescoping. Going up and down is a little bit more stiff. Then once you get it where you want it, this has an ambidextrous latch. So you can see it's here in the center, and you can reach from the right or left hand and reach it and release it and secure it. Okay, so sitting in the driver's seat, checking it out. Really like that the ebony wood grain there. And the screen is flush with the gloss black around the outside. Really impressive. Illuminated cup holders. So what's funny to me is I'm 6 feet tall, and I have the seat all the way back, all the way down, and I feel like a toddler because there's so much room here that I just feel like I'm small compared to how much room is in here. So of course you can adjust the seat and everything. It really doesn't matter how tall you are or short you are. You can position this vehicle to where you're comfortable and you can drive it. But just to give you an idea of the maximum room here, it's amazing. So we have a heated leather wrap steering wheel. Perfect thickness for my hands, and soft touch. And it is a genuine leather according to the window sticker. Cruise control is here on the right side, and on the back of the windows, on the back of the steering wheel back here, you have up here is paddle shifters. So you have plus and minus, and just below that you have you can see, if you're not familiar with these, it's you have an up and down and a center button. See, up and down toggle and then a center. So basically what those are, here on the right side is a volume for your radio, up and down, and the center button cycles through your audio source. On the left side on the back, up and down changes through your tracks, your radio station, and then or you know, whatever happens to be playing. And then the center button cycles through your radio presets. Okay, so here on the left side you have your Bluetooth and voice recognition controls here. So you can answer, hang up, and the voice recognition is very advanced. So once you learn the commands, you can do tons of things with the voice recognition. Typically, this is just reserved for making calls. So you say, call so-and-so, whoever happens to be in your phone book. But with this vehicle, with the Chrysler vehicles, the voice recognition is, you can change the radio station, adjust the climate control, call people, just tremendous amount of stuff. These buttons correspond with the screen between the gauges, which is very advanced, and I'll show you that in just a second. Turn signal also has your windshield wiper controls. Okay, so here's your gauges. You have your RPMs there on the left side. Very simple, easy to read, white lettering, black background, easy to focus on, and easy to understand. Here on the left side is your RPMs, on the right side is, at the top, is your engine coolant temperature, bottom is your fuel gauge. The very center is a digital screen. You have a little icons here on the left, what gear you're in, outside temperature, which way your vehicle's facing, with the digital compass is facing south. These are customizable. You can change all this information. Here in the center is a big digital speedometer, which is really cool. Now, using these buttons here, we can get more information, which we can also change the display. So right now, big digital speedometer. I scroll to the right. It has a more traditional style, digitally represented, but a more traditionally styled speedometer. So I scroll right again, so you can see, scroll it back and forth, you see little bubbles right here showing that there's two options to get different views. Scrolling down, so now we're looking at these icons here, and you notice it says speed, okay? So if I scroll down, it's going to give me some more information on the next icon. So the first one was that option. Second one, now you notice the digital speedometer goes up here. Now if I'm choosing this option, scroll down, the information appears in the center. So no matter what speedometer you choose, you still get to keep it while you're going through the menu. So I'm going to have this one, scroll down, so you can have the digital, your tire pressure. This is your vehicle info icon right here. So now we're showing the tire pressure. Well, now we can scroll right. So you can see it has lots of these little bubbles, a lot more. So you have your transmission temperature, oil temperature, a lot of temperatures and pressures here to give you an idea of what, mechanically what your vehicle's doing. It always scrolls back to the beginning. Scroll down, this is fuel economy. So you have two of them. You can reset both of them. One has your current miles per gallon, the other one does not, because the current miles per gallon kind of gets annoying or distracting because it's constantly changing, so you can have it without it. And you can reset these independently so you can keep track of your miles per gallon during a trip or whatever. It also shows your range as well. Scrolling down again, so this is a trip, so you have two trips, A and B. It'll tell you the distance traveled, average miles per gallon, and the time it took to travel that. And you can reset those independently. Scrolling down again, this shows what the condition of your stop-start feature is. You can turn that feature off when you get in, but default will be on. And right now it's saying the seatbelt is unbuckled, so it's not going to turn off the engine. Scrolling down again, this just shows what your radio is doing. This is where stored messages will show up. This is where you can go in and adjust the portions on the outside here. So upper left, upper right, you can see it illuminates slightly depending on where you're going here. And you can adjust these. So we can adjust that, show the current gear. Favorite menus, you can adjust that. Gear display. And then it goes back there. Scrolling down again takes you back to the original screen, which was the digital speedometer. So you can see the icons are right here, and they kind of, it's like a dial turning and changing the information here. And you don't have to go in there to all that stuff, but it's there in case you want to use it. And you see how simple that gauge cluster is right now, but it gets very advanced, and it gives you a lot more information based on the digital screen and how you use it. Okay, so here's the touchscreen, and the clarity and the resolution and the colors, everything just looks great. And also it's flush. In previous years, the screen was like sunk down into a frame. This is more flush, and it has the black portion around the outside. It kind of blends in really nice. The black background, it's not 100% black, of course, because it is a illuminated screen, but it's pretty close to being black, so that way it blends in really nice. Okay, so you see these icons across the bottom. This is the Uconnect system, and it's very easy to use. It's won awards and all that stuff for being easy to use, and I can understand why. It has a digital clock, have your temperatures for your interior, your climate control, outside temperature there. So this first icon is your radio. So it has your presets at the top, what you're on and what band you're on, AM, FM, or satellite radio. You can adjust your audio here, and this is pretty cool. So you can do your equalizer, speed adjusted volume. You can move that and adjust it like so. You can push the center button to go back in the center. So that's your radio screen. The next icon will be your media. So there's more than just your radio, of course. You have Bluetooth, auxiliary, USB 1 and USB 2 inputs here. And you will need to use your USB port, at least one of them, for your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, because it's capable of that as well. Your next screen will be your climate. So it does have some redundant buttons here at the bottom, so you don't have to go into the screen all the time, but you do have the ability to do everything here on the screen. So you have your fan speed, where you want the air to blow, your temperature for your driver and your passenger, front and rear defroster, and recirculate the air, all that stuff. You can also sync the driver and passenger there as well. This is a shortcut that takes you to your controls, which I'll get to that in just a minute, for like your heated steering wheel, heated seat, that kind of thing. Your next icon right now is your apps. So you have satellite radio that has travel link, which is really cool. You can find the nearest gas station and all that stuff. Has your heated seat, heated steering wheel, projection manager. This is for your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You will have to plug in the device and leave it plugged in while you're using that. You have your off-road pages in here. So this is a four-wheel drive vehicle. So you get some off-road specific data in these screens. So it's telling me I don't understand. Okay, so vehicle dynamics. So this would be like your steering angle. Okay, so I'm turning the steering wheel. It's showing me a visual representation of it, but also a percentage. Also, it's showing the transfer case. Now let's go to the pitch and roll. So this will be, you know, how much your vehicle's tilted, whether it be side to side or front to back. And of course, we're on dead level ground in this area of North Carolina. So, you know, not much there, 1% slight roll there. All right, accessory gauges, so that way you can, you know, keep an eye on different temperatures and pressures depending on your needs. So the next button is your select terrain. So right now it's on auto, and how you adjust it is right here. So you have this big dial, and you have auto. See, we're in auto now. So you have rock, mud, auto, sand, and snow. So as we turn that dial, it gives us just a pretty cool picture. That's all. Snow, sand, auto, mud, and then you have rock. So if you're in rock mode, you will have to have it in four-wheel drive low, so it's not going to allow me to go into rock mode right now. Alright, so the controls. Another thing about the apps, you can actually change things. So let's say we wanted to, there's some more controls here. Let's just say we wanted to take this off-road pages and put it down here. We could do that, like so. So now it's down here. It's easier to get to. We don't have to go into the apps to find it. So now, if we want to go ahead and get the controls and put those back there, it'll replace the off-road pages. Okay, so now let's go into the controls. This is where you can go into your heated seat for your driver and passenger, heated steering wheel. You know, you notice the heated seat has a high and low, so it's a two-stage. You can also go into your settings here, as well as look at your backup camera without putting it in reverse. So you can see as I turn the steering wheel, it has the active guidelines, camera in the very center, so that way you can back up to a trailer, you know, trailer easier and all that stuff. Let's go to the controls, and then there's your settings, tons of settings. I'm gonna quickly kind of go through them here just so you can see what they look like. This is where, so like say by default when you remote start the Jeep, it's going to beep the horn. So you could turn that off. Same thing when you lock it, you could turn that off, that kind of thing. You can also adjust how long this light stay on after you lock the vehicle, that kind of thing. There's lots and lots of different things. You can also turn the active guidelines off of your backup camera, adjust your clock, tons of stuff there. All right, I already saw the controls, navigation. So this is your navigation screen. We can put in a specific address. We can view the map. We can pinch zoom, all that stuff. Now one thing that little bit of annoying is, let's go to the map setup and let's go to vehicle icon, because it shows a blue arrow. We don't want to see that. We want to see the Jeep Grand Cherokee. So that's what we want right there. So now when we view the map, we have a Grand Cherokee there instead of just an arrow. I like that. I'm gonna say that's up to you, but I think that's pretty cool that you can change the icon. And last but not least is your phone. And once you pair your phone, you can pair up to 6 phones with a priority system. And depending on, you know, which one you have priority, when you get in a vehicle, it'll pair that one. But once you pair your phone, you have access to your contacts, recent calls. You can send and receive text messages. Lots and lots of features there. Voice recognition is fantastic. Okay, so that's kind of a rundown of the screen and how to use it. One thing I know you'll notice is that you will need a microfiber cloth to keep it clean, because it does get smudges on it. That's pretty much a thing with touch screens, phones, and all that stuff. It will need to be, you know, maintained as far as that goes. All right. So it has a traditional volume, tuned through the stations, a mute button, 4-way flashers. There's the screen off, so you can always turn the screen off, and then you can see the smudges easier when you're cleaning it. Climate controls down here. You have your fan speed, your temperature, front and rear defrosters, recirculate the air, all that stuff. In addition to on the screen, parking sensors you can turn off. This is where you can turn off your stop-start feature, which I recommend turning off when you get in the vehicle. Eco off, you can turn that off. Sport mode on. So you can see there, like, sport mode will be more aggressive driving and more performance over fuel economy, and then eco is pretty much the opposite. And then your traction control, in case you need to spin tires, you can turn that off there, but default will be on. Alright, so under here you'll find your 2 USB ports, auxiliary input, and a 12-volt power supply with a little battery. You notice it has a little key on it, so that disconnects from the battery when you turn on the, turn off the ignition. And this is all felt lined as well. So if you put your cell phone in here and plug it in, so that way you can use the Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. You also have a second USB for audio input and auxiliary as well. You see the cup holders there, they also are backlit. It looks really nice at night. You gotta check out my night videos. Okay, so here's the shifter and reverse. So there's 2 things that happens. One is the backup camera pops up. The second thing is your parking sensors are now activated. You get an audible tone if you get close to something, but also a physical indicator there of where the object is and how far away it is. Neutral, drive, and then you have a manual mode in which you can change to the gears like a ratchet shifter by moving it forward and back, just by bumping it. Same thing with your paddle shifters here, and you'll know what gear you're in because it'll show here on the screen. Okay, so we saw the 4-wheel drive controls here. It does have the 4-wheel drive low, a downhill descent. This is for extreme off-road conditions only. Snow, sand, automatic, mud, and rock. And then you have the neutral here. This is for flat towing. I don't have any experience with that, but that's what it's for. Okay, so here's your armrest. Soft to the touch, and it's nice and soft. It's not, doesn't really bottom out or anything. It's not rubbery. Fairly decent thickness. I guess I can possibly share with a passenger. Doubt it, but I might. So there's 2 portions here. There's a top button and a bottom button. The top button opens up this small area here, felt lined, has a place for wires to go in and out. Underside here has a place for like tissues or something. You notice it has 2 latches. So let's now use the other latch, the bottom one. It lifts up the entire compartment and allows you access to this storage compartment here. You notice there's wires can go in and out of there. But right here, you notice it says 12-volt DC and has a battery. So there's a power supply in here, but it has a battery on it. If you can see that, this is directly connected to the battery, so you don't have to turn the vehicle on to use that. So if you need to charge your vehicle, charge your phone or whatever, or you're going into the store or something, you can do that, and the vehicle will be off, and it still has power there. I use mine all the time. Okay, so the rearview mirror is it's an auto dimming rearview mirror. It's actually auto dimming right now because I have the shade over the light sensor back there, and it has these buttons. You can turn it auto dim on or off here. It has its own cellular connection, so you get roadside assistance and contact emergency personnel by pushing those buttons. So even if you don't have your cell phone with you, you can still talk to somebody. I think that's really good. So it's an auto dim rearview mirror, but also your side mirrors. So you can see they're also auto dimming as well, since that light sensor is covered up. Also on these side mirrors, you can see a little triangle there. That's your blind spot monitor system. There's a little triangle there. It's kind of hard to see with the auto dimming, but anyways, there's a little triangle which will illuminate when there's a vehicle in your blind spot. It also illuminates when you're backing out of a parking space. It serves as your indicator for your rear cross traffic alert system. Okay, so place to put your shades in here, and it has a like a foam portion inside. And you have tap lights, more focus beams here and here. These are more like a flood beam. This and this is for your panoramic sunroof, which we'll get to in just a minute. This is your HomeLink garage door opener controls. Right in here is a little light, a little ambient light that illuminates the center of the vehicle. It looks really cool and helps out a lot. There's the ability to open up the power liftgate from here, the driver's seat. The visors have mirrors and 2 lights to avoid a big shadow on your nose, and clip here. It also extends out on a metal rod. Okay, so now let's look at the sunroof. So the sunroof has a shade that covers 100% of the light here. So it covers it up 100%. It's just like a regular headliner when you're not using it. But let's go ahead and push this button here and open it up, get some light in. Push it again, it'll go back the rest of the way. This back portion is fixed, this front portion actually moves. So now if we want to vent it, we can vent it up, we can close it, and we can open it. Push it again, it goes a little bit further back. Not sure why, but that's how it is. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. Alright, so you have some significant pillars back there. You also have some headrests there, but you notice they kind of line up, so it's not adding to it. But I think the visibility is pretty good. I mean, looking over my shoulder, looking in the rearview mirror, of course the backup camera, the parking sensor, the all the features, the blind spot monitor, rear cross traffic alert. I mean, you have a lot of technology in addition to that, but just in general, it has good visibility in my opinion. I mean, I drive a Challenger, which has worse visibility, so this is better than what I got. Love these seats, very comfortable. Alright, so before we let you go, it's time to check out the window sticker. So you can use the pause button and read whatever you want. So you say it's limited X, four-wheel drive. It starts off with the basic information: engine, transmission, colors, standard equipment, interior features, exterior features, continues on. Then you have your optional equipment. So this is your customer preferred package, which is basically your limited X package. Has the wheels, it talks about all the different options here. It also has the HID headlights listed here, LED daytime running lights, sport hood. Now the sunroof, you can notice that has a separate price, so that's separate from this package. Alright, so there you have it. 2019 Grand Cherokee Limited X. First time I've ever seen one of these. Really nice looking and comfortable and sporty. Love the hood, love the exhaust pipes, love the seats. The Uconnect system is great as always. The clarity and all that stuff. Gauge clusters. It just feels like, it just makes you feel like you're in a quality machine and comfortable. So thank you for watching again, and thank you to Van Underwood Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Whiteville, North Carolina. Thank you for them for providing the vehicle so I can show it off to you guys, and you can check it out. So thanks again. See you next time.